Why is it that when there's a proposal for a toxic landfill, the community comes together and you may have a vast majority of the community stand up and say, no, we don't want it, we don't want it. And no matter how many people in the community say we don't want it, no matter how many letters get written to the representatives, no matter how many letters to the editor, how many people show up at the environmental agency's hearings, they get the landfill anyway. These are, it makes you wonder, and I hope that it makes a lot of people wonder, what is it that stops us? When you begin there, it's important to keep digging and don't settle for the easy answers. Don't settle for, I guess we didn't have a good enough lawyer, or I suppose our PowerPoint wasn't all that compelling. It's not about those simple things. It's about being locked out. The decision on whether or not you're going to get what you don't want was made before you showed up at the hearing. We have the trappings of democratic processes.
In the most unlikely place, people started to stand up and say no. No to harms that were coming into their communities, aided by a small, rural law firm.
The Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund is a public service law firm.
And essentially we're the law firm of last resort in many ways. We get heartbreak stories every day or every week over the last 15 years about communities that were literally being killed by whether it's sludge or other toxics coming in. They arrive on our doorstep because they've become blocked.
We've been sludged from Schuylkill Township, the potential for sludge to come up to the Springdale pit. We've been sludged up in Packer Township, which is right where our water source is. And the list goes on. And I worry about the dumping that these are the sites that we know about. And I worry, what don't we know about? What are they dumping here tonight?
When the local officials told us that they couldn't do anything, their hands were tied, the reason they gave was they said the state had preempted them from having anything to do with oil and gas drilling. So at the time, we didn't know what that meant. So delve into that. Well, it turns out in 2004, our state legislature passed a law, House Bill 278, which stripped local communities of any authority whatsoever over any regulations, any control over anything to do with oil and gas drilling, with the depositing of the waste from drilling. We had no say whatsoever.
So, rude awakening.
Chodkiewicz says he can hear this one from his bedroom. It switches on at 6 a.m.
The polluters have such political clout because the huge amount of money that they've used to compromise our democracy and to subvert our democracy and to corrupt our public officials and to capture the agencies that are supposed to protect the rest of us from pollution and to erode democracy at the local level, to get rid of the zoning laws and the planning laws and the local sovereignty that give people control over their communities. And you go to any polluting community in this country, start anywhere you want. Go to North Carolina where the CAFO industry is.
We wanted to consider something that would allow the people in the community to establish what their priorities were and what they wanted to secure and what they wanted to protect.
The most valuable thing in this community should be the people. And the fact that agencies and elected officials aren't looking at it like that means that they're only doing one thing, and it's listening to these corporate folks, right? They're not listening to the voices, they're not listening to the data.
If a court can say no, you don't have any power to do that. Corporations have more right to come in because we issued them a permit to drill in your community. That's what we have to change. I mean, that's just wrong.
I was really sick and tired of seeing people being victimized, seeing nature, which I love, being destroyed. I was sick and tired of being told there's nothing you can do. It's really just too bad. It seemed to me that there had to be a better answer than that.
These communities are coming to an understanding that the current system of law under which they operate makes sustainability illegal. And so change can only come when people refuse to obey existing illegitimate laws. And we should know this because in the history of the United States, the big movements like the abolitionists, the suffragists, and the civil rights movement, they had to go outside the law to secure their rights to freedom, the right to vote, and the right to equality. So some laws are legitimate and some laws are illegitimate. And laws that subordinate people and communities to corporate control are illegitimate. And as we all know, these laws perpetrate an unsustainable and destructive system. And so, the work really needs to be about making sustainability legal.